Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks for Decay channel. Tonight we are in the midst of the Imperial world that is besieged by the Tau. The Tau Empire have sent out a small scouting party looking at expanding their own empire. We got the Sons of Vulcan, the Sons of Nocturne have been sent to purge them from this planet. Will their fire be enough to wipe out the Tau, or will the Tau claim this Imperial world for the greater good? With that in mind, we're doing the mission Purge the Alien tonight, so it's just basically down to kill points. Deployment zones are down, we're doing Dawn of War. So let's go take a look at the armies.
This guy here, the Ethereal, is my Warlord. His Warlord trait is pretty pointless. It's called Through Boldness Victory, which means he doesn't scatter any deep strikes, but he's not going to deep strike. I have used the reroll because it's a battle-forged army, but having rolled around the table for loads of stuff which isn't really relevant to my army and does give you options to reroll, stuff like if your commander isn't jetpack and whatever, he ended up getting a 6 again. So there we go. So it is what it is. Never mind. So troop choices: 2 guys here, 2 squads of fire warriors, a 5-man and a 6-man with gun drones for each of those squads. And over this side we've got a 10-man squad with a Devilfish as a transport and 2 gun drones. Both of these have got a mix of plasma rifles and pulse carbines, which looks good. I'm quite happy with how those guys look. We've got 1 squad of crisis battlesuits. They've all basically, you can see they're loaded out there with plasma rifles. The commander, the chasse bearer, has got a fusion blaster as well, just to pop any enemy vehicles that might come his way. Over this side, my generalist squad. These guys have got a mix, well, they've all got missiles, but then they've got a mix, 1 plasma rifle, 1 fusion blaster and 1 burst cannon. So we'll see how those guys perform. They're a bit of a Swiss Army knife, that unit. Over the back we've got 2 squads of stealth units with a shield drone for each to give them a bit more durability. That's obviously an elite section as well. And then we've got the Piranha, which is fast attack. This has got a fusion blaster to harass any enemy vehicles and get behind them, hopefully, and pop them with the rear armour. Then moving on to heavy support. Heavy support consists of a hammerhead. I did mention in my intro video to Tau that I'm going to try this guy out with long strike at the helm. I'm not sure he's worth the points, but given the army's not finished yet, I did need to bolster the points up to get to target figure of 1500 points, and that was the best way to do it, really, or one of the ways to do it. I'm not sure it's worth the points, but he is preferred enemy Space Marines, which is good considering that's who we're facing today, and he's a tank hunter. And I've also taken the submunition rounds to give him a blast template if there's no suitable vehicle targets. And then my other heavy support choice is these 2 guys, broadsides, both with the iconic rail guns. One of them's got a smart missile system as his second weapon, and the other one's got plasma rifles. And then we've got a 4 drone squad with 1 shield drone to give it a bit more durability, and then the rest of them are missile drones just to give it more DACA, or whatever the Tau equivalent of DACA is. More precision, high technology shots, or whatever. So that's my army, that's my 1500 points, and it's my first game with Tau, so I'm crossing everything, and we'll see how it goes.
HQ choice for the Salamanders tonight, Pete, is taking a captain. This guy comes with Artificer armour, Stormbolter and a power sword. His Warlord trait for this evening is Storm of Fire, so he gets to nominate a friendly unit within 12 inches, and their ranged weapons have the rending special rule, so that might come in quite handy. Over to troops, we have got the tactical squad. In here there is a combi melter with a power fist. There is also a melter and a multi-melter. Next troop choice, we have got another tactical squad. In there is a grav pistol and a heavy bolter. Over to elites, Pete is taking his Salamander Terminators. These guys all come equipped with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, and they'll be riding around in a Redeemer Land Raider variant there. It's not like the Salamanders to have lots of things that shoot fire. Second elite choice, we have a Stern Guard. In here there are 2 combi flamers and a heavy flamer, and they will be riding around in a Razorback that's equipped with las cannons. Next elite choice, we have an Ironclad Dreadnought. This guy's got the 2 big nasty fists, so I'm sure he's going to be punching that through the face of a few Tau this evening. Over to fast attack, we have the Talon. Comes in all its glory with its twin-linked assault cannon. This comes with the Skyhammer missile system. And then finally, heavy support choice, we have got the trusty old Vindicator. So that is Pete's 1,500 point Salamanders going to be taking on Jonathan with his newly almost complete Tau army. Deployment for the Salamanders, the Razorback and a 5-man combat squad are on the left hand side of the board here. Are hunkered down inside the building behind the Agellis defence lines. We've got another 2 5-man combat squads hunkered down, taking a bit of cover in fire. Got the Promethean pipelines in front of them in the middle of the board. Next to them is the Vindicator. Next to them, another 5-man combat squad. Pete's basically broken his 2 tactical squads up with the Ironclad Dreadnought and the Land Raider. So in reserve we have the Storm Talon. Inside the Land Raider we have the Terminators, and inside the Razorback we have the Stern Guards. You might have noticed that this is Rich doing the talking and not Pete, because he's a tired bunny. He wanted me to do it, which is fine, I don't mind. Let's go and have a look at the Tau.
Okay, so Tau deployment. I've got a stealth squad which is infiltrating down here, and they're going to be hopefully going over the top of the Land Raider and getting stuck into those troops down there nice and early. Down here, Hammerhead, clearly with an eye towards that Land Raider when it appears. Next to it, obviously these guys with plasma rifles are going to be good at taking out Terminators, hopefully. So these guys are sitting here waiting for their chance to get stuck into that squishy cargo. Piranha in the middle. I don't really know what to do with that, to be honest. So we're going to stick that down the middle there and make some decisions later on. I think it's got so much movement, it's not a problem. Then we've got Fire Warrior Squad 1 and Fire Warrior Squad 2 with the Ethereal kicking around in the middle there to give them the boosts. Broadside sitting in the middle. The broadsides are looking at the Vindicator. That's obviously a pretty serious threat. And then we've got Devilfish with the 10-man squad inside. Battle suits on the top. The mixed squad battle suits at the top. And then another stealth squad down here. Again, infiltrating, using that skill to get stuck in nice and early.
The combat squad has stayed still. The Razorback has moved around a little bit. It's got a nice line across the battlefield there at the Tau lines. This combat squad has stayed still. The Vindicator's moved up, being followed by another one of the combat squads. Again, a nice view for the Vindicator there. With its big pie plate of doom and death and destruction ready to rain down on the Tau. The Ironclad has smashed its way through one wall of the building. Kind of just taking a bit of cover and taking in the scenery. There isn't much deployed on this side of the board for the Tau, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what Pete throws these guys at. The combat squad's always following up behind the Dreadnought. And down here, the Land Raider has moved up. It didn't immobilise itself, it's all good. With an eye on the stealth suit guys that are deployed inside this building. Hello, Flames. Goodbye, stealth suits. The Razorback, hiding away down the back of the board, opened up at the Piranha, which is all the way down there, hitting it and getting a glance, so managed to take it down to 1 hull point. The grav gun that is in this 5-man squad, this little guy there, opened up at the stealth suits, hiding behind the Promethean pipelines, killing off the shield drone and killing off one of the guys as well. Basically, Jonathan Snake Eyes the roll, which is never good. But then again, Pete doesn't have all the luck with the dice rolls. He opened up with a Vindicator. He opened up with a shell. Basically, here, trying to kill the Ethithmiel and the broadside that's there, and scattered wildly. It basically hit my floor. So he didn't get it all his own way with the dice rolls. And basically nothing else was in range. Down here, as predicted, it was hello flames, goodbye stealth squad. The Land Raider did its job, went in, burnt to a crisp the tower that were hiding behind this building here. If you can listen very carefully, you can just about hear their screams of pain and agony as they writhe around, as their life drains out of them as they burn. So it's currently 2-0 to Pete at the end of Pete's first turn for first blood and a victory point for killing off the stealth suits.
First of all, well, I learned an important lesson already. I'm not really used to infiltrating units, and made the mistake really of sticking that stealth unit too close to the Land Raider and got them toasted, which is not a great start. Giving away noob mistake, rookie error, hopefully one that I won't make again. So Tower Hammerheaders stayed put with a view to the side of the Land Raider, thanks to its movement over there. Crisis suits move forward. I'm hoping to make a 2d6 leap into that building during the assault phase. The Fire Warriors have moved forward. Broadside stayed put, try and take out the Vindicator. Piranha has rocketed forwards, again with a view to that Vindicator. A bit worried about that. Other Fire Warrior squads move forward as well. So is the Devilfish. These guys have jumped from top of the building down. Going to get some shots off against those units up there. Well, the first piece of good news is Longstrike has taken revenge for that stealth squad, and Land Raider's not destroyed, but it may as well be, because it is immobilised in a corner of the battlefield, all on its own, pointing in the wrong direction.
I hate you.
So it's utterly useless where it is. It hasn't given me a victory point, but it has neutralised the threat, so that's good. Down here, the combined walking plus jetpack move has got the Crisis squad up into that building. Broadsides took a punt at the Vindicator, actually didn't do any damage, but the Piranha, as you can see, has popped it thanks to its fusion blaster, so I'm quite impressed with that already. That's earned its points back big time already, so that's good, and nullified another threat, which is brilliant. Stealth suits failed to wound and have jumped back behind the cover. These guys down here, I'm learning already that some of the weapons on Tau units are not as good a range as you might think. So only the plasma rifle was in range and it didn't cause any damage. And they've jumped back into the building to stay in cover. But I am pretty pleased with shooting, because big threat there is gone. Big threat there may as well be gone. So good round of shooting, I'm really happy.
The Razorback and the Sternguard have moved up. Well, Sternguard jumped out of the Razorback. Probably getting ready to throw quite a lot of pain in this kind of general direction, I'm thinking. Razorback, I'm thinking it might target that, but then again, I don't know what Pete's got planned. These guys have stayed still. These guys have stayed still, hunkered down. Nice bit of covering fire for these guys as they move forward. These guys have lost their cover of their Vindicator, so they're going to have to move up. Got a little bit of cover from the Promethean pipelines and the building. Again, quite a nice few targets there to lay shots in. The Dreadnought has moved up and the Talon is on. So these guys are coming around this flank now, getting ready to come round the side and maybe move around the back a little bit of the Tau. Join up with their Battle Brothers on this side maybe. These guys have moved up into the building. These poor guys have had to get out of their Land Raider. They've had to leave it behind as it's popped a track on some sand. Oh no. It actually got shot, didn't it? Of course it did. I'm used to Pete immobilising everything as he goes along. So these guys are going to have to walk. They're going to have to walk quite a way. Are they going to go over there and take out that, or they're going to go and take out what is the world's big orange blob of Tau that is over this side of the board? the Stern Guard squad that stepped out the Razorback opened up with all their flamers. Again, doing what Salamanders do best and putting their enemy to the flame. So the stealth squad has gone. That's another victory point for Peter. The Razorback opened up at the Devilfish, not doing anything. This squad, and this squad all opened up at the Piranha over here. Basically taking out all of the shield drones. So this guy is now very vulnerable. He's going to have to do a hell of a lot of jinking. The pilot inside the cockpit is going to have to prove his worth there. Otherwise, that's going to be going down in a big ball of flames. Around this side of the board, the Dreadnoughts. The Dreadnought opened fire at the Crisis battle suits that are all the way around here, killing one of them. So there's only one of these guys left now. Oh no, there's two because there's one there. So there's two guys left, but there is one that is dead. The Talon opened up at the squads down here, killing off how many drones, John?
2 drones.
2 drones. So there's only a couple left down here. The Dreadnought tried to make it into combat with the Crisis battle suits, failed its charge. But the weapons on the Crisis battle suits failed to do any damage to the Dreadnought. The Terminators have ran a little bit. They're kind of desperate to get into the fight now. A bit annoyed that they're having to hang back. Down here, the Piranha has gone. The squad that was around this corner of the building ran in, smacked it with the power fist, and took out all the remaining hull points. This thing is now down. It is gone. It's kind of caused Pete a little bit of issues, so I'm sure Pete's glad that this thing is dead. So yeah, another victory point for Pete.
So Crisis suits have moved out that building to avoid the Dreadnought at all costs, making their way into this little bit of melee that's going on over here. Fire Warriors have followed them. Over here, Fire Warriors moved up, Crisis suits moved up, Devilfish dropped off its troops, so that's all happening. That's going to get messy. I think these guys are going to be in the bubble for the Ethereal to be able to use their pulse weapons for an extra shot, but I need to read up on the rules, but I think that's going to happen, which is going to be good. Down this side, on the broadside to stay put, they're going to use their velocity tracker, hopefully to remove that thing before it causes me any more headaches. And down here, Long Strike is looking for another kill point, hopefully. The Dreadnought just there. So Long Strike took a shot at the Dreadnought, not massively exciting, it's lost a whole point, but no big deal. Broadsides using their velocity tracker managed to take just 1 whole point off the Storm Talon, which is a little bit irritating, but it's still in the game, so it is what it is. Over here though, bit of better news. So thanks to the Ethereal's little bubble, we managed to fire an absolutely stupid amount of shots down here, and we've taken off the combat squad, we've taken off the Stern Guard, and the Crisis suits popped the Razorback, so that's good news. I then used the assault move to move the Crisis suits forward there, and also forward down there as well. So getting bold or getting aggressive, see what happens. But mixed bag of shooting there. I really would like to take the Storm Talon out, but I'm pleased that this side of the board is emptying out pretty nicely.
The Talon has moved up, ready to lay down as many shots as humanly possible down here on the Tau. The Dreadnought has moved round, again ready to go into probably these guys. He will squish them. There's going to be a few dead Tau down here. These guys have stayed still. These guys have moved out of the building over here, down here behind the battle lines, ready to open fire on these 2 guys that seem to be steaming down at them very, very quickly. And again, the Terminators have moved, trying to get into the combat. It's a bit unfortunate that this thing was immobilised down here. It's kind of put the Terminators out of the game a little bit, but they're trying to get round. There's a hell of a lot of Tau left on the board, and not much green from the Salamanders at the moment. The Salamanders are ahead on victory points, but they've got to wade through quite a lot of Tau guys that remain. The ironclad Dreadnought round the back of the building opened up with his flamer. basically just absolutely annihilating the Fire Warrior squad that was in front of him. There's only one guy left. He's really going to have to do some serious rallying. Otherwise, he's going to be running off. The Talon opened fire on the Ethereals Fire Warrior squad down here. Basically killing off, I think it was about four. Four, including a drone. So there's a drone left and two guys. So really thinned down now. I can't say that word. Ethereal, that's the one. Really exposed. He's going to possibly run back, maybe. I think that's what I would do. But hey, I'm not in this battle. I'm only narrating it. Down here, the squad in this building, the heavy bolter guy, this squad and this squad opened up at the crisis suits, killing one off and putting one down to one wound. Are they going to go into assault? I'm guessing that Dreadnought might try and get into assault because he probably wants to get out of the way of the broadsides that are down there. Maybe Pete will be going in here. Let's go find out. The Dreadnought did not make it into combat. That Fire Warrior lives for another day. Possibly bye-bye Dreadnought. It's got 2 hull points left. It's got broadsides staring down at him. He might die. On better news for Pete, he destroyed the one remaining crisis battle suit, thank you, that was standing there. The Salamanders made it into combat and just basically pulled him down quite easily. So they consolidated up behind the Promethean pipeline, ready to lay down some fire. Possibly down here, probably more than likely going to be down here.
So broadsides have stayed put, so they can fire at full ballistic skill. Hammerhead has just moved 6 inches forward to get a shot off against the Dreadnought that's walking away. Down here, crisis suits are just inched forward a little bit to get some shots on the guys in the building. The Ethereal and his little posse have all moved forward to try and take on this Salamander conga line that's going on down here, which is a little bit random. So Longstrike scored a hit in the back of the Dread and it's immobilised. The broadsides fired at it as well, but didn't have any success. Storm Talon was basically ignored and as unscathed. The clustered Fire Warriors down here have wiped out the squad that was behind the Promethean lines, which is awesome. It's a victory point. Over here, these guys were not quite so successful up in the building. We've taken out, how many guys died in that one? Was it just the one? Two died in there. And then the Devilfish has just took one Marine off down there as well. So we're chipping away at it, but not as good as it could have been.
The captain has separated off from the Terminators. Terminators are heading up here. They've seen a target that they can get their hammers into, so they are going for it. The captain pretty much looking at possibly that one guy there. And finally, the only other thing that Peter's moved is the Talon. It's entered hover mode and it is going to rain down a hell of a lot of shots. The tactical squad down here opened up at the Devilfish, not doing anything to it. So this guy's still, he's claiming Linebreaker at the moment and he's at the back of the board. Can Pete get rid of him and pop him off? You're going to try. I'd say the biggest thing for Pete this turn is the Talon. It opened up on the Ethereal and the squad that were here, killing them outright with the assault cannons. So basically that's slay the Warlord, victory point for the Ethereal and victory point for the other squad. So from one shot, 3 victory points. That is not bad going at all. The Salamanders down here made it into assault with the Devilfish and did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They needed 6s to glance, but unfortunately they didn't do it. Pretty much a turn of fail, to be honest, from Pete. This guy didn't make it into combat. Well, it was an 8-inch charge. These guys didn't make it into combat. Again, it was a 9-inch charge, but he failed to get any in. So, yeah, pretty pointless.
Okay, so Longstrike down here has used that building for a bit of cover to get away from the Terminators and got out of the way, which is a good plan, I think. Broadsides have stayed put again. Looking at the Dreadnought, it's nice that he is immobilised, but there's still a victory point sitting there, so we need to take him down. I'm thinking about taking down Storm Talon with Longstrike if everything goes according to plan. Over here, I was a bit of a muppet because I forgot to move in the assault phase these crisis guys, so they've got a very limited line of sight, if any. We have to figure that one out in a second on those guys. I really should have moved those, which was dumb. Anyway, you live and you learn. It's a new army to me, so I'm going to let that one sink in as a lesson. Fire Warriors down here, they've moved through the gap between the Promethean pipelines and the wreckage that surrounds this area with a view to taking down the captain. And Devilfish has moved away from assault. Just going to look at those guys and see if we can take those guys down. So long strike, well, we managed to fail shooting at the Storm Talon. Fortunately, these guys were on hand to dispatch it by lack of hull points. So it's crashed, it's burned. Broadsides, we shot the Dreadnought. What happened there?
You whiffed.
Yeah, it was useless, basically. Down here, this Fire Warrior squad has taken a wound off the captain. Over there, the Devilfish has taken three guys out? Yeah, two guys out. So that is the shooting done.
The Terminators have moved up. They're eyeing up Linebreaker. They're also eyeing up the Hammerhead here. They're not going to have that far to charge. Possibly going through rubble though, so maybe -2 to their charge. Final movement for the Salamanders is the captain. The captain has moved up. I think he's looking at going in here to this squad. The multi-melter in this squad opened up at the Devilfish that was here. There was a big gaping hole where it used to be. It went pop, it went boom. Taking Linebreaker off Jonathan in that turn because there is nothing now in Pete's deployment zone. These guys have ran. They are a victory point waiting to be given up, so they have ran into the building to try and gain some cover. The Terminators down here have ran, taking Linebreaker, and more than likely getting ready to go into assault if we get a turn 6. The captain made it into assault with the Fire Warrior squad. Basically, he managed to kill off one drone, and then John did one wound back, which was saved, so he lost the combat, and then he rolled miserably at his leadership. Absolutely terrible. And they ran away, and were charged down, and were hacked to tiny little bluey purple pieces by the Space Marine captain, who has consolidated back and is hiding behind the wreckage of the destroyed Razorback. He's probably trying to hide out of the way of these guys a little bit, I'd have thought. So yeah, that's another victory point for Peter. It's really close.
So a summary of Tower Turn 5 all in one go. So the Hammerhead reversed and took a shot at the Land Raider, and it's destroyed. Broadside took a shot at the Dread, and that's destroyed. So that's pretty awesome. Down here, not such great news though. Crisis guys were desperate to shoot the Sally Warlord that's hiding out down there. Fired everything obviously at it and got it down to one wound, but that failed. And then I thought, well, backup plan is I'm that close to the deployment line that I can get Linebreaker. Then I managed to roll a 3 on my assault move, so they haven't actually made it over the line, so they're not going to score Linebreaker, which is really annoying because there's like 1 inch in it. But there you go. So that's my turn 5 done.
So there we go then, guys. We do not get a turn 6. In the end, it was a victory for the Salamanders, 10-8 in the end on victory points. The Ethereal giving away 2 victory points there might have made the difference. Maybe it was first blood. Not 100% sure, but again, another brutal battle for us here at Geeks 40k. There isn't much left on either side, only a couple of units remaining. I think if we'd have got a turn 6, it might have ended differently. There might have been a victory for the Tau if Jonathan actually managed to grab Linebreaker and kill off a couple more units. So, as always, guys, please leave us a comment. Love to hear your feedback on another brutal battle. Like if you like, and as always, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we will see you guys on the next one.